Hey, good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
And good night.
And anything else?
Nah, not really.
That's it?
Yeah.
You don't want to have a meal or a snack or
Back on the 40-day.
Were you off of it?
Yeah.
Because I see Flex. Everyone.
You gotta re-up, man.
Everyone seems to re-up. They reset the reset.
But that's the point of the reset. You could fuck up for a while and then you just jump back on it.
And you reset again.
Hence the term reset.
How badly did you fall off?
I probably gained like 7 pounds, 8 pounds.
You know what? I'm not even on a 40. I wasn't even on the 40 reset, and I need a reset.
But
just my general health.
I'd gain. You always gain like 2, 3, come back a little, go back. It always fluctuates.
Right, but then you notice that a couple stay, a couple more stay.
Then I had my birthday while out.
Honestly, it always happens, in my opinion, when you get hit with a couple back-to-back.
Back-to-back situations. So
you don't
have a birthday while out, a baby while out, a fucking... the seller gave me like a big-ass cake one night, like shit like that.
Well, for the baby?
For my birthday.
Oh, for your birthday.
Yeah. So then I was like, all right, let me just jump in this little 40-day, get my shit right for Memorial Day. I have my shirt off in the pool, you know what I mean? No, I'm not gonna go in the pool.
No, you're still not gonna go to the pool. But no, what I got hit up on the Passover, which is a big holiday with a lot of dense, heavy food, and then Uncle Georgie died, and death is the worst.
Yeah,
death is the only thing you do is eat. People just bring food, more food, and more food. And then I end up looking up and I'm like, damn, I actually kind of fell off now. So anyways, me and Ciph got a lot to talk about today, of course. But Ciph, we're starting the show off with a guest.
We're starting off the show with people listening to this podcast. You need to sign up to the Cipha Sounds Intro to Improv class. Okay?
Okay.
That's happening. The next one starting up is May 20th, 2015. Now, when I tell you we are creating an urban improv army, it's fucking amazing.
How many people have done this now so far?
The last class I had to stop telling people to come. It was like 22. You're only supposed to have 16 people in a class. I had 20. Yeah. So go to ciphasounds.com. If you want to sign up, it's about to be summertime. You got to get your improv skills together for the summer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course. That's how you talk to women in the park.
No, not even a joke. The guy, one kid in my class, because we just finished a level 1, which is called the Biggie, and he gave like this emotional speech at the end of class. No stroke this time, thank God.
By the way, do you have an update for us?
No, we cannot. She's not emailing back. Nothing.
No update.
No update. I'm sorry.
Are you going to fill out emergency cards from now on?
No, I make people. They have to send me an emergency number, contact number.
Everyone.
Yeah.
All right, good. Because someone suggested that, and I was like, they're absolutely right.
Yeah. So then, but then this guy ended with this heartfelt, I'm very insecure, and this class helped me get through certain situations, and it feels good to have somewhere to go and learn something new. It's fucking amazing.
It was like the moment you can't afford to miss.
Can't afford to miss. So yeah.
So ciphasounds.com.
Ciphasounds.com, or you can look at my Instagram at Ciphasounds and sign up for the level 1 intro to improv, the Biggie.
Now.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce our guest?
Vaughn.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say.
Vaughn?
Well, jeez.
Hi, Vaughn.
I don't get more than that.
Vaughn DiCarlo
is,
I don't know how to introduce her. So she's Patrice O'Neal's widow.
You don't like introducing someone as that because that's a morbid way to introduce someone.
Well, she corrected me.
Yeah, people get confused because technically Patrice and I were not married at the time of his death. He died 1 month before we got married, legitimately married. But we were together 10 years and, our lifestyle suggested that we were married and we were taking that step. And then he passed away right before it actually legitimately happened. So it's fair. People don't know if it's wife, fiance.
But because I
you said ex.
In my mind, I'm like, Patrice O'Neal's ex.
No, we never broke up.
Like,
I won't take that.
It's not an ex-girlfriend. It's not an ex-wife.
But that okay, real quick, and we want to talk about what you're here for, of course. However, that is on top of everything else. that is annoying that you guys didn't get married, huh?
It absolutely is. And I feel like I'm an advocate for people not getting married at the right time, because we were living under the impression that, what does the government have to do with our love and it's a cultural thing. It really is. And we both grew into a certain place where we really started understanding, not just the love of a relationship, but the business of a relationship. And, we worked together in the industry as well. We had a full, well-rounded relationship, and by the time we really understood how important all of that is, well, let's just say we both suffered a lot in the end because we did not take that step soon enough. So I definitely.
So because a lot of people will say, well, what's the point of marriage? And I have said before, they're like, even before I got married, that I'm like, well, there are certain situations, medical situations,
absolutely,
where if you're in a healthy relationship, that your partner is the person you want to make the call on everything.
Yeah.
Like, not your mom anymore, not your dad. You want your partner to make the call 100%. On everything. And when you don't have that option, and you don't have to get into details about it, but that can make things very complicated.
And the government says, hi, who's in charge? Okay, you're not legally married.
Then you're a stranger.
I don't care if you know everything.
Come in the room, please.
Yeah,
Wait, could you literally, there are situations where you would
absolutely
not be in rooms?
There could have been. There could have been.
Do you not speak about the details of it?
I don't like to, because it's, I'm coming to a place of understanding forgiveness and what it does for your own soul and spirit. And it's not necessary to hold on to things. It's better to find a different way to have closure and just understand and learn from your mistakes and just make sure that things like that never happen again. Fortunately for me, I am still alive. I can make changes in my life. But, like I said, we both suffered in different ways.
Because decisions couldn't be made that you knew needed to be made.
Absolutely. And I do have a book coming out, and I do talk a little bit about that at the end of the book. It's in the chapter called For Men's Eyes Only, because it's like, once you get a woman, it's a self-help relationship book. It's based on me and Patrice's relationship and his philosophies on relationships and what made us work so well. And it's like, okay, well, if you have a woman that is legitimately on your side and you guys are meshing well and everything is great, and she's, able to speak fluent man to an extent, which is the title of the book, and now what are you going to do? You can't take advantage of the power that you have in a relationship, and it's really the man. If a woman goes, let's get married, that's an ultimatum. If a man says, let's get married, that's the selection. That's the order of things. So not to get too deep into that.
Well, hold on. Did you? I'm guessing you have, but maybe you haven't. Have you heard Patrice's last appearance on our show?
No.
I've pretty much heard everything at this point, I think.
Well, we did, what was the only thing he did after us? Did he do O&A one more time?
O&A.
He did O&A one more time.
Right before Caroline's.
He did O&A that.
Okay.
So we were the week before, though. So we were about 10 days away before it happened. And then, he went and did O&A 5 days later or something like that. But we did an hour with him. And people love this episode. It was really just a very Patrice episode.
I know exactly what that means.
He just went
dropping bombs.
For an hour. We had our old co-host there, who's a female, and he was just dropping shit on her for it was one of those days.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure a lot of the language stuff that you talk about in the book. So if you ever are up for it.
He wanted me to write. He told me to write this book years before he passed, and basically I only appeased him with an outline. Like, these are the top things that I think I learned from you, that I think women, and he said, women listen to you differently because you're a woman, saying the same things about entitlement and double standards and the natural order of things and all the stuff that you talked about. And I'm not a debater. I like sharing and inspiring and all of that stuff, but I don't like people who search for arguments just for argument's sake. I want to share and help you learn and all of that jazz, but he's the debater. That's him.
Would
so
you guys ever get into it?
You do it.
If you guys,
yeah.
When you guys would get into it as a couple, would he just go off endlessly and you'd participate somewhat, and then also check out at points like, all right, Patrice, just go ahead and have your conversation?
Well, I was always in a learning position with him, and it got to a point, and you may have heard him say this, or he said this on this podcast at some point. I got to a point where he said I had a black belt in Patrice. where now it's like the
That's crazy.
student is trying to fight the master
That's awesome.
with his own philosophies. And that was around the time he said, you need to write a book so you could go out there and like karate chop people who don't know, because you're trying to karate chop me and I'm the master. And I'm like,
but it does
you're
come,
right.
but a lot of the things he says that you might write off as being Patrice is fucking crazy would come differently coming from you. It would sound differently.
Especially because I'm living it, and for instance, I remember this one time when I was really not like in the right state of mind, and we were riding in a car and there were these two ladies. It was like a mall area. We were coming from eating at this Italian restaurant or whatever. And these ladies were just like taking their time. You ever have two people in front of you that won't move so you could drive past? And I don't know if my period was coming or something, but I was like, rage was boiling up in me, and I'm looking at Patrice, and he's just like looking at me. Well, that's what y'all bitches do. You're entitled, take up the whole sidewalk. He was very calm, but I'm like getting really impatient. So finally, they started to move to the sidewalk a little bit, and he rode past. And I'm so embarrassed to tell this story, but I have to because it's part of sharing. I threw my pasta, my leftover food out the window at these sugar. And I am refined ghetto. People are surprised that I would do something like that. But I did. And guess what Patrice did?
What?
He stopped the car, rolled down the window, and locked the window so that I couldn't roll it up. And these two, and they weren't little. They were not little girls. These two big-ass chicks were coming my way.
Hold on, was the pasta closed or open?
It was in a bag. I don't think it got on them because when they got to the window, they didn't look pasta-y.
Okay.
But I was like, I looked at Patrice like, what are you doing? And he looked at me, it's like, you're so bad, handle your business. So they came, they got to the window.
How did he stop the car, by the way?
He was driving.
Oh, he was
driving. I was in the passenger side.
Oh, God.
I was in the passenger
wasn't thinking about
side.
it like that.
So he just stopped the car and he had children locks on all the windows. He had a nice car. And I couldn't roll the window up. And here they come. And they're right at the window. And I just looked and I went, my bad. I'm so sorry. My period must be coming. I blacked out. And they're like, yeah, like yelling. And I swear one of them could have punched me in the face. Patrice drove off, and it's like dead silence in the car. And I'm just looking like, oh shit, I know I'm about to get a mouthful. And he said, let me tell you something. Don't ever do no stupid classless shit like that again. Number one, you know you weren't going to get out and fight them girls. You did that because I'm here. And I got you. If somebody is messing with you, I got you. But I will never fight for you because you act stupid and get me caught up into some shit. Because if I get out the car to help you with these girls and the police come, I go to jail. I go to jail. And I was like, yes, master, I get it. I get that. Those are the points experience that we had where I grew. Now, the first thing that will come to a woman's mind is, well, he should have never stopped the car. But I will argue that point down. If he did not do that, I would have continued to do silly shit like that and eventually got him and myself caught up into a bad situation.
Right. And we know he wasn't going to let them do anything.
Exactly. But it was scary as hell.
That fear in that moment is what teaches you a lesson. And I'm not saying he should be teaching you lessons.
No, he did. No, you can say that. I say that I was trained in a sense because I was very raw when I met him. I was looking for, I was coming into the relationship like, why do men have to lie to us? Why do they think we're crazy? Why do they get quiet? Men are usually right, logically speaking. Women are not always the right ones. It's just that you guys get quiet because you don't want to deal with our emotions. Yeah. And that's what Patrice taught me to do. I learned to think logically above my emotions as well. That's why I titled the book Speak Fluent Man, because
that's a dope title.
You can learn to speak the language of a man, but I'm always going to be a woman. So if I wanted to learn French, I would have to really have some empathy towards the language, get into the text, maybe go to France, spend some time in that culture so that I could become fluent. But you'll always know that I'm an American black woman speaking French, no matter how fluent I am. And that's kind of how I look at the language of men. And
you're always going to be a woman, but
always
you can
be a woman.
And your brain naturally is going that way, but you can learn how to think like a man.
All I was able to do with all of Patrice's philosophies through our relationship and why I was so successful was listen and apply. But that doesn't mean that I was just magical and like I still didn't have to deal with like jealousy issues and just natural girl stuff. It was always still there, but I just learned how to live above it. And it made me so much better as a woman, a mother, just all around.
How much do you think, okay, is there anything that since Patrice passed, has, are any of his words, did any of his words change after he passed? Meaning, did they the meaning change and they became more significant to you afterwards? Were there things that he used to say when he was around and you'd be like, oh, and then afterwards when you're forced to think about someone a little bit differently, that it changed? Or did you already fully think that? Because, I mean, I think the realistic part is all of us, no matter how much we love someone, inherently appreciate them more when they're gone. It is the inherent nature of life.
It's funny. Not just me, but I think fans of Patrice's and Patrice's other friends, no one has really, for the most part, said anything about Patrice that they did not say when he was alive. Like, the word genius gets thrown around real loosely when someone dies. But, like, people legitimately said that before he passed away. And I don't think that he was a very quotable guy. The book is like kind of geared around his quotes. I post quotes on his Twitter all the time. And it's none of those things sunk in more deep later. It always was what it was.
But that's another thing, because the guy didn't speak in fucking code. He spoke flat, straight out.
It's amazing that
you don't even have to decipher his shit.
No.
He took the most sometimes complex things just because of our emotions as humans and our denial of the truth. And he made it so simplistic. He could wrap a whole point up in one sentence and you'll be like, why didn't I think of that? That's exactly what the hell? Why didn't I already say that?
Well, I think one of the things that made everyone, because I felt the same way when the outpouring happened for Patrice and everyone spoke on him, I was like, these are all people who always said this. Everyone always said he was a genius. Partially, and I think we talked to him about this in that last podcast. I think I was asking him about like not doing the mainstream opportunities that he'd had the chance to do. So because Patrice was sort of an industry secret to a certain extent, because he wasn't at the point in his career when he passed, he hadn't yet decided to succumb, at least if he ever would.
Yeah.
And I think there's a chance he still might have one day. Decided to
He was finding his way with that.
Exactly.
He was very uncomfortable with like the business. He really liked being an artist and funny and an actor,
but the
he
bullshit
hated
was not him.
the business.
So,
business he put on me.
I'm sure. And I want to ask you about a couple things related to the business that I didn't get a chance to ask him about, but like, because he didn't succumb to the bullshit yet and get his huge moment, because as a result of him being this genius that everyone knew, because he didn't have that light yet, everyone always wanted to shine it on him.
Yeah.
Because people were like, oh, well, you know, Patrice O'Neal is one of the funniest dudes on the planet. Because we didn't get he was on The Office for a second. Like he had like these, or was he on it? Or he was on it for a second. But he didn't have the main role. He had the secondary role for like, and then he left. So because he didn't have quite that moment yet, all of us were like, well, this is the guy. Like everyone knew he was the guy. So I think you ended up getting what ultimately, instead of seeming like one of those over the top eulogizings that seems to happen when someone passes, it all seemed very sincere.
The best example I like using of people being brutally honest about Patrice is Lisa Lampanelli. And she had said something to the extent of, I didn't like him when he was alive. Am I supposed to pretend I didn't like him now that he's dead? And people thought I should be insulted by that it was an insensitive comment and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yes, Lisa, yes. Patrice would have kissed her on her forehead and said, good girl. Because that was the truth. If she would have said anything different, I would have been like, this bitch is lying.
100%.
But that, I think Patrice made people comfortable in telling the truth. Even if it was against him, he was an advocate for freedom of speech. Even if that's what he said. Freedom of speech means it's freedom of speech, even if it's against me.
Right.
Like, I can't go, it's good enough for me, but it's not good enough for you. It's like, it is what it is all the way around.
Why did they just not get along?
He would make her cry. Like, I I can't really. That's more of a question for her, and I would love to have her in the film. We're doing the documentary of Patrice, and I would love to have people like her in the film to tell her side of the story, independent of me just saying what it is. I just know Patrice's side, and it's more or less, he would probably say she was one of those people that one of his quotes is, "Liars don't like me." Like there are people that like to live a lie. A fabricated lie, like this is how things are, or this is a phoniness. And I think he felt that maybe there was like a phoniness about her.
Vaughn. That leads me to tell a great Juan Epstein story. So, Cipha, you remember if I've told this on the podcast before?
I don't think you have.
Well, you know what? That's what this show is for. We tell the truth on this show. So, to speak to that, you're going to find this very entertaining.
Okay.
So, Cipha has a good rapport with Lisa. She did ours. And I do too, now, as well. I mean, totally fine. She came on our show, and God, I wonder if that audio is around somewhere, Cipha. Probably not, but that Vox Pro's dead now.
Oh, you don't have it at the station anymore?
They have a Vox Pro, but it's I don't know if it's in the new version. I don't know if they lost the whole thing. It might be somewhere, but... Lisa came on the show, did a phone with us. On the phone. She calls up on the phone, Cipha's like she wants to promote this, that, and the next, blah, blah. I don't know her. And I admit I was very brash when I first started on the show and talked shit all the time without really knowing how people would respond to things. But I still don't think what I said was out of pocket. Which is going to sound crazy. She comes on, when you hear what I said, it sounds crazy, but not to Lisa Lampanelli, in my opinion. So she comes on and she's talking shit.
It was a Comedy Central special.
She had a Comedy Central special or an HBO special. Yeah, it was Comedy Central. And she's doing anything, promoting, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hey, Lisa, I got to ask, whose dick did you suck to get your own Comedy Central special?
Okay, what's
Seems
wrong with
fair.
that?
Not even a hello. Just
but you
Right.
talked to her. I just hadn't said anything yet.
Yeah.
And phoners are weird. You can't necessarily tell who's saying what.
Right.
But that said, we know what her brand
But
is.
that's funny.
Right? So I say, whose dick did you suck to get a special? She lost her fucking mind.
She lost her shit. She lost it.
She
Really?
fucking lost her mind. And I'll never forget Cipha going, yo, but Lisa, are you being serious right now? Or are you joking? Because she started going off on me. And not funny going off. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? That's offensive. What the fuck is wrong with you? Cipha, how could you put me on with someone like this? I mean, lost her shit. And Cipha's like trying to feel out, well, if this is real or not.
Like, is this a bit?
Well, you know what? I don't know her well at all. I've met her a few times over the years, but I don't have any particular relationship with her. And I just appreciated her comment that she made about Patrice. But I think would be what Patrice would speak on. It's like people who could dish it out but can't take it in.
And that's why I told the story. It's interesting that he would have...
very sensitive. And I think that Patrice would make her cry, quote unquote, because she has a high level of sensitivity to certain things that she just does not like receiving it, but she could dish it out.
And I know there's no way Patrice, of all people, wouldn't have felt a way about the level of jokes she made about black men if you then couldn't take the joke from a black man when here come the jokes back at you.
Absolutely.
That makes what you're doing, that makes what her bit is inherently offensive.
Right.
If it's real, people like Patrice, true comedians, are not going to be offended if it's real.
And Patrice, he was not a knock-knock who's there comic. If I could quote him again, it's like, I have jokes. I don't have jokes. I have soliloquies. Like, his comedy was more like social commentating and philosophies in life, our life, his life. And so he was always walking around in the truth. I spent 10 years with him. There was not a moment that did not go by where, like the car situation, where he would not have put a mirror in front of he would not let me get away with my own bullshit. And some people can't take that. That's the only credit I give myself, is that I wanted that so that I could be stronger. I didn't want to just be like running around like the world is my way, I gotta tell you, in my head.
I think it's very cool just to have heard you tell the story you told. Because it didn't shine particularly well on you, right?
No.
But by the way, that's real shit. And women who grow from girls to women. I mean, listen, I'm sure there's some women who are classy from the moment they're born till the day they die. But a lot of women, just like men, have to go through some shit to learn to grow up and not act like a fucking idiot. So it's
work in progress.
Everyone's a work in progress. And I think it was very cool to hear that story from you. Were you with Patrice when he wrote for WWE?
No, that was before me.
Do you know anything about that time?
I probably know what you've already heard, the stories of Vince McMahon and like that whole incident on the plane.
No, the only story I know about Patrice, and I'm such an asshole that the last time he was there, I didn't think to bring it up.
I don't even remember.
I've told you this. You know?
Yeah.
Have you? Maybe.
I think I
anything
mentioned
with
to you.
wrestling, I block out of my
Exactly.
mind.
What?
I know.
Oh,
Are you
man,
a wrestling fan?
You know what? When they merged, I kind of fell off. So
When they bought WCW.
Yeah,
Got
I
it.
like WWF back in the rock days, and you hear that Stone Cold music. I get hype. But then after it merged, I was like, whatever.
Something,
I'm
you
gonna
missed
focus
the
on
competition.
basketball. Yeah, now I'm like a huge Patrice was like, let me teach you how to watch basketball intelligently because you have a lot of passion, but you sound like an idiot. You can't sound like an idiot if you're with me. Because I'm a Knicks fan. He's from Boston. So I would be like arguing with him about Nate Robinson. He's like, okay, you have no idea what you're talking about here. So we would get into it with the Celtics and Knicks or whatever. But
Well, he got the best of that one.
Yeah,
I'm a Celtics fan
definitely.
as well. So the only story I know about Patrice is that he was supposedly fired like 3 times.
Yeah.
Because Stephanie, I think, was like, "You're fired." And he was like, "All right."
All right.
Did you hear this? And she's like, No. I said you're fired. And he's like, "Okay."
well,
But like it wasn't impacting him because he didn't give a shit.
Right.
So she wanted to keep saying, is that basically
right.
it?
That's the gist of it, and it can tie into what you were that I didn't really get to answer earlier because we went to the left and off on another story, which happens with Patrice. But the whole Office thing, and even in his early, that was so early in his career, the whole WW wrestling thing. But he just knew what he wanted to do. And I believe the reason they were going to fire him is because when you are a writer and you're working for that company, you are locked in. Like you could do other things, but they have to come first. And I believe Patrice had some shows, like some stand-up stuff happening,
yes.
and he was like,
Yeah, they said
fuck that.
Yeah, they're like, well, you can't do it.
And
he
he's
was
like, no, I'm doing my stuff.
What's the Vince on a plane story?
The Vince on a plane story. I think it was just basically Patrice being in awe with the immense amount of power that man has and how people just kind of tiptoe around him. And he's like, okay. I think I'm supposed to be scared of this guy or something. All right.
That's not. I can't really see him being like that about anybody.
No, and it's not like an intense story or anything. That's basically just it. Just he would talk about Vince McMahon like that guy is incredibly powerful, and he is what you think he is. Like that's not made up. Like Vince really is that. Whatever is in your head about Vince,
Right.
he is that. So I don't know. I wish I was with him at that time because I'd be like, "Can I go?"
I know. I want to hear a story.
What was he writing?
He was just a writer.
You
Like-
do know wrestling isn't
No,
real,
I know, but
right?
do they actually, does he write like
Writing,
promos
you could write promos. They write the
Storylines, yeah, all that
backstage,
stuff.
the backstage interaction.
He doesn't write like, okay, you do a suplex here.
No,
He
that's
writes, like,
there's someone else who does that.
but there's somebody who writes like, well, he shouldn't have came around, man. And
Yes.
Right. It's all storylines.
So he could
Yeah.
he could it could be as much as writing an entire storyline where you could have a writer who's like maps out what 6 months looks like. I think they all have to do stuff like that. And then there may be someone who more focuses on dialogue.
Right.
Like, no, here's actual conversation. But I just know it didn't last very long.
Yeah, and I don't think is that Patrice didn't have an appreciation for certain things. It's just that, like with The Office and the Chappelle Show and all these things, he would say, I fly all the way to L.A. or I do the Chappelle Show here. It's like you spend 14 hours on set a day. You give people underestimate. If you're not an actor or a comedian, you really don't know what it takes to shoot all day long and what it takes to get into a certain character and a frame of mind and think creatively and all of this stuff. And, for me as an actor, if I had one line on The Office or Chappelle, whatever, I'd be like, yay, whatever, I'm happy to do my one line. But from Patrice's perspective, it was like, I pour so much into it. I need to do my own thing because when I see the final result, I see what's edited. I gave you all of this out of my soul, all this creativity, and I have no say. So you took what you think is the best take is not the best take.
right.
Yeah.
And he would say, in this business, people want you to be you, but a little bit less of you. And he hated that. So he was just trying to get to a place where he wanted to be the boss. He wanted his own show. He wanted to put on the people that he believed in and give them opportunities and kind of move to the background, actually. He wanted to produce and direct and get into that side of things.
That might have made more sense for him, for his personality to be able to handle it.
Yeah, and we actually did the Patrice O'Neal Show Coming Soon web series. It was like a web series way ahead of its time. Like before you were doing web series.
With
Will,
some funny shit.
Harris Stanton.
He
said that was his best time. He loved doing that.
He did Tosh Point before Tosh.
Yeah, Web Junk.
The Web Junk. Mm-hmm. And it just was too early. It was too early to comment on internet videos the way Tosh does, like just break them apart. He fucking was ahead of his time.
Yeah, but he said that was like his best time because he was like, what? Internet, no rules, I could just do. Yeah. He directed all of us on it, and that was before, like you spoke about improv earlier. I need to take one of your classes, but it's the urban improv stuff. I'm excited that you're doing that, really.
Well, yeah,
but
I'm not billing it as urban. It's just
just a lot of stuff that he said.
Yeah, but you be showing up.
When we did the Patrice O'Neal Show Coming Soon, I was like, we were improvising and we were doing stuff on that show, and I always wished that I had more experience because I was kind of just winging it. Yeah. You know, I was just a regular actress. I had done a little stand-up before, but I didn't have any real training. Right. And after Patrice died and the smoke cleared and everybody disappeared, and, you know, at the time when he passed away, I had bartended in the Nederlander Theater area by where Rent was for 12 years, the musical Rent. I was there for 7 years. I was there bartending for 7 years at a hotel next door to the Nederlander Theater, and that bar shut down like the same time Patrice died. So for a decade, everything I knew all disappeared at one time. Whoa. And I remember around April, like the following April, Patrice died in November. That following April, I literally slept 18 hours a day, only waking up 3 times a day to feed my kid and pretend like everything was okay. And breakfast, lunch, after school, dinner, and then and I caught myself, like around May 2012, I'll never forget it. I caught myself and I was like, I can't do this. I have no friends. I had nobody. And I was like, I have to do something to get out of the house. And the first thing I did was go on my computer. I signed up for UCB at UCB, and I started doing improv. I graduated there. I got the diversity scholarship. I founded the group Good Catch Comedy. We've been together 2 years now. It's musical improv, and it's like he was saying earlier, that story that guy told about, you know, he was shy and all that stuff. I could relate to that. I used the first couple of classes, like I would have to apologize. Like I just would cry in every class. Like, and the first couple of songs, like in musical improv, like all of my songs were about funerals and diabetes and strokes and being a vegan and eating it was very dark. And I you know Doug from North Coast? Yeah. He was one of the people that pulled me to the side. He was like, don't worry, you'll find that place. You'll transition from truth and then truth in the character. Yeah. But I was very raw when I first started doing improv. Very raw. And I said all the time, improv saved my life. Improv really saved my life.
I said the same thing. High five.
Improv saved our life.
And then the funny thing is, because I did it a little bit before you, and I would always see you at the Jam. And because I met you with Patrice at the Elephant in the Room, taping. I met you there, and I met you one other time, and then when I saw you at the Jam, I was like, oh shit, she's fucking taking improv. And the funny thing is, it saved our lives. But if Patrice was in the audience, he would destroy us. Like, the fuck is this goofy shit y'all niggas is doing up there, yo?
When we did he had a Comedy Central pilot, and they got some people from UCB to like do some work on the pilot. He trashed them the whole time. The whole time. You're exactly right. He would have called us all kinds of corny.
Okay, guys, real quick, before we get to what the mission.
Well, should let her do her mission.
No, I'm going to get to it in 1 second. Okay. Because I also want to do that, and I want to play a clip of the Patrice O'Neal Show Coming Soon.
Oh, yay.
So we'll do that in 1 second. But first of all, Ciph, can we give a shout-out, Ciph, to our good friends at Squarespace?
Oh, I thought...
Can we?
I would love to.
Well, then give a shout-out to Squarespace right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, big shout-out to our... friends?
I think they're friends.
Friends at Squarespace is a site where you could create your own website.
That's right.
Which is, I mean, for people like me who are internet stupid.
I think that's a good way of putting it, stupid.
Internet stupid.
I meant to tell you, Ciph, you've been at your computer for over an hour. Yeah. It's not on. You gotta
I know.
You're typing, but the screen's blank. You have to turn the computer on.
But Squarespace, though,
Yeah.
made my site on there super easy.
I know.
User-friendly. You don't have to be this crazy website designer that went to school for 4 years. You just sign up, and you just plug and play. Beep, bop, boop,
Yeah,
bop,
but if you're
boop.
going to sign up, you should use the code.
Oh, Juan Ep.
Yeah, use Juan Ep. Because if you use Juan Ep, you're starting a website. Let's say you've been like, I've been meaning to do this website. You start it, use the code Juan Ep. That way, they hook you up, and you're supporting the podcast.
Thank you.
So it's amazing. So we can do things like this. Actually, I completely redesigned. We have a full redesigned RosenbergRadio.com that I was done in 5 minutes on Squarespace. I just haven't switched it over yet because I've been waiting for my web guy to get back so I could move over the actual podcast. The design itself, everything is so super easy. You can do a store. You can do whatever you need. All with Squarespace.com. Use the code WANEP. Now, let's see what this sounds like. Sorry, guys.
Why these black motherfuckers trying to get me?
This is about the last white man alive.
Wait, time out. Start it again. Wait, start again.
His favorite episode was child labor, when I brought my daughter to work that day. And she took over the set. Mine is pittance.
How many did you do?
We did a full season, 13. And then he was like, I can't do it anymore because he was like, you don't have to pay me, but you have to come up with something to pay everyone else. Because these, especially like, he was like, look at Harris Stanton's T-shirt. It's dirty. He can't even buy a T-shirt. He's coming in and working. She was so little.
How old is she now?
She's 16 now.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute here.
She had to be like, I don't know.
7?
Was she in that? Yeah, she was a baby.
Yeah. Now look at me. I'm in this crappy place.
Watch her mannerisms when she talks to Dante.
I want y'all to turtle.
Listen to this.
That's about as close as I came to my dream.
Did it die?
Actually, I killed it.
Dante broke one
by
of his
accident. I stepped on it.
Of course.
That, of course, is all Patrice.
That's a-
like he didn't direct her to say that, but she was around him a lot, and she picked up on all of his sarcasms. We had so much fun shooting this show. Like, it was a good time.
What's the concept of the show for someone who's? They can all look it up now and see them all on YouTube.
It was supposed to be a show about a show that would never happen. We were trying to do a show. That's why it was called the Patrice O'Neal Show, coming soon. But it was a show that would never happen. That was the concept. It was really strange. So every episode is us trying to do an episode of something and like improving and freestyling sketches that would never like quite come together.
You watch Cop Show? Colin Quinn's web series?
No.
It's like that. It's like a Law and Order procedural show.
But behind the scenes.
But the behind the scenes is fucking hilarious.
Is it doing well?
I don't know.
Is it YouTube?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but
How did you meet Patrice?
we met on the set of 25th Hour.
Hey, that's where I met Patrice.
Are you kidding?
I'm in that movie.
Get out of
His
here.
whole scene is talking about my character. The
Really?
DJ Dusk.
I never knew that, Ciph. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's
Ciph
how I
DJ
met
does.
Patrice.
Well, let me help explain.
Yeah.
Ciph was about 200 pounds thinner then.
Well, I wasn't in the movie. Basically,
What were you doing?
I came into the ADR session. I know you couldn't have been at that because I would remember
What's
you.
ADR?
Additional voiceovers, where you come. It's like the background
Yeah, that's where I
sound
did the
of
music.
the film.
Yeah, you had to do your scratches, your bad, your fake scratches right there.
No. My
at the
very
time-
good scratches that they chopped the shit out of.
And ruined.
Ruined. But anyway.
Yeah, I wasn't even union yet. I was like green behind the ears, New York City starving
Because
artist
the
actress.
day I went there, right, I had to do my scratches after the effect. And then the white girl in the movie that played Rogue in X-Men, I forgot her name, and True Blood, the girl in True Blood.
Oh, yeah. The main girl in True Blood.
Yeah, what's her name?
Why am I forgetting?
Whatever. She had come to do some voiceover stuff to fix some voice parts, and she had the Rogue.
Anna Paquin.
Yeah, Anna Paquin. She had the Rogue, because Rogue has like a strip of white hair or something. So she had like the strip of white hair, and she's like, oh, sorry, we were just filming X-Men. I was like,
Oh,
what?
wow.
Oh, shit.
Wow. But yeah, I met him at the ADR session.
Crazy.
And
Full
my
circle.
roommate at the time had got me in there because she knew, I don't know if you know Tuffy Quissell. he was
Yeah,
the casting
Tuffy.
director at the time.
Oh, really?
He
That
got
was
me
your roommate?
in. No, he wasn't my roommate. He
Oh.
knew my
Oh, he knew
roommate
your
at the
roommate.
time, and she
Oh.
was like, she just wants to get her SAG card. This will be like a day player part,
Right,
get her
right,
in,
right. Tuffy.
so she could be
Wow.
SAG.
Crazy.
So when I came, Patrice was like, talking to all the girls, blah 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 blah. He wouldn't talk to me. He didn't like me.
Mm-hmm.
He said I had pretty girl syndrome, and I didn't understand what that meant. But basically, to make the story shorter, when we first met, he was like, I'm gonna do you a favor. Everybody's trying to sleep with you. You don't have any friends, or you damn sure never had a man teach you anything. So I'm not gonna try to sleep with you. I'm gonna be your friend, and I'm gonna put something in your head.
Holy
and he
shit.
did.
That's such
The first
Patrice
part-
game, though, too.
It does kind of
It's
feel
super-
that way because we did end up together, but it was very genuine because the first
but I know-
beginning of our relationship
Yeah,
was
pretty girls have a different filter because they don't
Yeah.
have a lot of the hiccups that.
And I didn't
Rarely
understand
right.
that. I was the third wheel on his dates in the first part of our relationship. Like, he would call me like, hey, you broke-ass actress, I know you're hungry. I know you ain't got no money for food. I'm making lobster, broccoli, and rice for this teacher that's coming over. This is when he was roommates with Will.
Will, yeah.
And he was like, you could come over and eat if you want, but you got to leave because I'm going to be trying to hit this chick.
God.
And I would go. But I was really blinking slow at him. I was just scared to say I liked him because, he was like from the door rejecting me. Like, no, you need to just be around.
But that's also, he knew what he was
Trickery.
doing. Of course,
Well, why do you still
It
have
lasted
a boat?
a long time. But I was so goofy in the beginning of our relationship. Like, he would drop me off at somebody else's house. Like, and I'd be like, you sure about this? He's like, yeah, do your thing. So I blame him for the people that I was messing with in the early
Oh,
part.
my God.
Like, we never dated. We kind of morphed into a relationship. We
fucking
really
great.
did.
Over how long?
That's a good question. He had a bit about it. He was like, my girl's been with me for
Oh, yeah.
5
The
years.
best.
I've been with her for 8 months or something like that. Because I count from the day I met. I count from 25th hour on. He counts from when, like, he bought me a ring or something crazy. He counts probably from like 2004. We met in 2002.
Oh, my gosh, that is so funny. By the way, Ciph, let's talk about how random this cast is when you look at the 25th Hour cast.
What do you mean random? It's amazing.
Edward Norton, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Rosario Dawson, Barry Pepper.
Barry Pepper's my man.
Literally? You know?
He was the coolest one on the set.
Anna Paquin, Patrice O'Neal, Isaiah Whitlock, Cipha Sounds, Tony Siragusa.
I
That
can't
makes
believe
sense.
you were in it, Ciph. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
His
full
whole
circle.
scene is talking about me.
I never really watched the whole movie.
It's a really good movie.
I've never seen a
Well,
lot
well-
of stuff Patrice was in. Like, he was in Paper Soldier. Like, I'd never seen
Oh,
The
God,
Office or
there's no-
Chappelle. I didn't
no
really
need to
start
watch
watching
Paper
his
Soldier.
stuff until, like, I literally start working with him on stuff.
Let's see what Patrice's IMDb looks like.
Please do not watch Paper Soldiers.
Why?
It's horrible.
But like you were saying earlier, first of all, he loved film. He's a perfectionist, and he would sit around and talk about the little details of acting and like small facial movements. He was really into film. So doing the documentary, feature length film style, the way I want to do it, is my way of putting him in the starring role that he never got to do.
So is that what this is? So what are you here for today? What was the reason
we
you
go.
got Ciph to come here?
Turn up.
I'm doing the documentary about Patrice. This is official documentary. It's called Better Than You, and we're in the last days of our Indiegogo campaign. We went to the
How
fans
much time
first.
we have left?
That's a good question. I think we're like 10 days in.
10 days left?
10 days left.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
10 days
and how
left.
much do you need to get? And how much do you have?
$125,000 is our get started budget. The total budget is $250,000. Right now we're at around 116.
Oh, wow.
We have to get $125,000 or we have to pay a higher percentage out to Indiegogo. So we don't want to do that because it comes out of the film money.
No, you're going to get it.
Right. And we
you gonna
need-
get it?
After this podcast?
Yes, please.
I'm serious.
There are amazing perks. I don't want people to feel like they're just donating and not getting anything other than like you could like there's streams to the DVD, but there's T-shirts, there's mugs. That my book, The Speak Fluent Man ebook, is on there. Those are like the lower end perks, like affordable perks, and then there's the higher end certain stuff like
What about if a really obsessive fan wanted to get to make out with Patrice O'Neal's wife?
Well, I'm not for sale.
Okay. That's not part of this at all?
That's not, everywhere
How
I go,
much,
they're
though?
trying to sell me, though.
What if they give like $10,000? Damn.
No.
You did say something when you came to my comedy show.
Because, I think I'm funny, too. So I was just being funny.
Well, what did she say?
I said that for $20 they could squeeze my booty.
Yeah, squeeze the
But
booty.
I was just playing.
Well, I think you make it boobs and you have a conversation.
No. Y'all better stop. No.
Does she have a nice butt?
How much for the left boob?
How much for the left? Look, nothing. No, let me look at my perks list. Let me look at the.
Well, I just felt like I would have been remiss and I wouldn't have been really true to who Patrice was if I didn't at least mention that Patrice's girl has a great rack. Because he would have. Because I mean, come on, Patrice would have done the same.
I do have a nice booty too.
Really?
Yes, yes. I'm actually trying to get rid of my booty. Like the booty is heavy. Like big booties are in right now, but
it's
I
too
want
heavy.
it to go. My ankles hurt. Like this too much ass to carry. I don't like it.
God.
Ass is heavy.
By the way, why
it.
do women with like either big boobs, but even more big asses, have to have the conversation of like, that is not true. Sorry, it's not true.
What?
I just can't find clothes that I can wear because my ass is too big.
Bottom line with women, we want attention.
Like, stop.
It's always attention.
You can. The problem is, no. Listen, my waist is too small and my ass is too big.
It's attention.
I swear to God, you can wear a belt. You can go to a tailor and they will take jeans and they will let them out for you. Like, you can, I promise. Stop trying to say that you have a big butt.
I don't have problems finding jeans.
You do, and you have a big butt.
I do, and a small waist.
See?
And I don't need that kind of attention. But you know what? It's women, the whole who run the world girls thing. Beyonce has gotten people confused for so many years. God bless her. I love her. But who runs the world is Jay. Like men, here's the proof. Because when men say skinny is in, everybody want to be skinny. Now big booties are in, everybody getting the big booty. Like women, we have this facade that we run stuff, but we don't. It's you guys. Men select us. We don't select y'all. That's the bottom line. Wow. We have to be receptive, of course. You can't, it's like not the caveman days. You're not going to hit me in the head. It has to be some type of reciprocation.
Although Patrice in a different way did hit you in the head. But like literally, he really did.
Yeah, he said there's nothing wrong with washing a brain if it's dirty. And I agree. I 100% agree.
Was crazy.
Yo, why was he so smart? Why did he say that was so smart?
Exactly.
Like, even the shit that he says is so crazy, and he would say stuff, and I'm like, I could never apply what you're saying to my life.
But you can.
No, you probably can. It just would require
on it. It's just
but here's
truth.
the thing: you're gonna get
resistance.
You're gonna get a mouthful back. That's the shit.
It's the patience that men. Thank you, Cipha.
You have to handle that.
You have to have that patience.
You gotta wallow through the muck to get to the end.
Well, because
when guys first start getting that mouth from a girl, they just give up
immediately.
Like, oh, fuck, I'm gonna go drink. And they don't sit through the nasty part to get to the goal.
Like the title of my book sounds like it's geared just towards women, but is a good read for men too, because you see I'm honest. Like you said, that story didn't put me in the greatest light, but it's for a higher purpose than me. So I will put myself out there to be honest.
Well,
so you get Patrice's perspective of,
but you also get your real.
Right. So it's a good read on both ends.
Okay. So when people hear someone like Patrice or Dante, but particularly Patrice, do what he does, your gut reaction, without thinking it all the way through, is going to be that he sounds like a sexist or a misogynist. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
He was absolutely the opposite. He loved women. He just hated the living in a world where no matter what men do, it's wrong, and no matter what women do, it's right. He didn't like that power that women, because it's a fake power. It's a fake equality. He's like, look, you guys want to be equal. Let's really talk about what that is.
And what that really is people...
girls can say what they want, and dudes will let them because they want to fuck.
Right, that's not really equality.
Right, women,
that's really just
I could quote
you.
him all day. Women win on the front end, men win on the back end. Because as soon as you do it, we're like, oh, why? What happened? Well, you know why, bitch? Because you weren't likable as we were moving along. That's what Patrice taught me, how to be likable. I was always fuckable, but I just became likable.
Why
so
weren't you
now I'm
likable?
keepable. Because I was an asshole woman. I was entitled.
In what way?
'Cause everybody was giving her attention all the time.
Yeah, and I thought it was
nonstop.
I didn't understand the idea of the later. Like, why can't I get you later? I could get you now, but I can't keep you later. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why you get into a relationship with a man and then he cheats on you and has fun with the mistress while you're home doing the chores. Before I met Patrice, I was in a relationship where I came from that. And then I said, okay, I want to be someone's mistress. I want to see what's on the other side of this fence. And that was the only relationship I was ever in other than Patrice, where I didn't feel like I was lied to, because I came into a lie. Like, you were lying to that person. And
you were a mistress before you were with Patrice?
Yeah, because I wanted to have that experience, because I experienced the being cheated on. But I was like, okay, what is it like on the other side of the fence? Fun girl over here, let's do this. And then that relationship enabled me to be ready for someone like Patrice, because I was like, okay, if I can't meet a person where I can be respected as a wife and hold that position, and you have fun with me like your side chick, then I need to be single forever. And in walks Patrice, and that was our relationship. I was his wife that he had fun with like a side chick, if that makes any sense.
Let me ask you a question. What is this? If a woman loves a man, but a man likes a woman?
You want me to answer that, or you want my Patrice head to answer that?
Patrice said it was
perfection. Yeah. He was like, why can't you love me and I like... Basically what he was saying was, men, once they love you, they feel differently. Like, it's hard for men to keep liking you, because now you're... in a sense, a responsibility.
Yeah.
And it's like, to quote him again, a man's love is practical. I take care of you. I'm a provider. That's practical. But it takes away my freedom in a sense, because I want to be a good man to you. So, like, he would go, if I'm in a bad mood, maybe I just turn down some pussy and I'm on my period now. That's my period, because I'm being faithful to you. I'm on my period. But he didn't have that issue with me, because I was a willing participant in getting that new pussy for his desires.
Oh, you guys, you brought in other women.
Oh, yeah. We went through that whole phase of threesomes and swinging and all that.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
It worked out great.
Did it eventually end?
When he died, he was at a place where...
Well, I figured at that point it would be completely unreasonable at that point.
One last one, Patrice. One last ride, baby.
You're so stupid. No, at that point in our relationship, we had a lot of different experiences, and we both learned what we like and didn't like about it as we moved along. And he was at a place where he was like, I can love more than one dog. If I had more than one sibling, I could love multiple siblings, but why can't I love more than one woman? Like, he wanted us to have a girlfriend, like a polygamy type thing. That's where I capped off. I was like, no, women are fun. They got to go home. I'm not living with another woman in our period sink, and I got to deal with her shit. She's a toy. Like, I totally get why men don't need to know our last names to have sex with her. I get it. I had that live vicariously through a man experience with him, and it's like, God, we're unlikable. Like, he would laugh at me because I was have so much... Like, I was so impatient with women. I'm like, oh my God, we got to take her out to dinner and talk to her and entertain her to maybe have her pull her drawers down. This is fucking annoying. She's eating all our food. Like, is she going to, like, come out in panties or what? Like, he would laugh at me like, this is what we go through. This is what we go through. So those experiences gave me so much empathy towards men. I'm like, God, you guys really deal with a lot when it comes to us.
I'm mind blown right now.
Yeah,
I also
crazy.
understand why you need... Like, men coming in the door, you have to, if you're single, you need at least 3 to 5 women. Because Friday's going to come, you had plans with woman
3 to 5 what?
At least
Women?
3 to 5 women. Because you have to juggle. I understand why men juggle. Because we're unreliable. But what I was able to teach Patrice on my end was like, we might not want to say in the beginning of a relationship that we're canceling on Friday because, our periods came. Maybe some women aren't comfortable with that,
or someone else came along that they wanted
or somebody
more.
Right, or they're juggling as well. But like we would have girls, like we would have all these plans. We're going to take her out. We're going to do this, and she was like, I can't make it. I changed my mind. Blah. And I'm like, this.
Okay,
bitch.
but you got to take me back to one other part now. So, how do you even get to the point where there's where that's happening, where you made plans together with a girl? How did that point even come?
Well, you mean how did we get into girls, or like how?
Well,
did
not
the date,
overall,
how
but
did
like
we get
in a specific situation. Yeah, let's not even start from the beginning. But like,
okay.
How would you get said girl?
It would depend. Sometimes this was the very interesting thing about it. That's why you have to be very much on the same page as your partner, because the girl she would either be really into him and come via him, or really into me and come via me. So we played good cop, bad cop with this shit all the time. I was usually the bad cop. They thought he was the bad cop, but I'm really like this bitch.
And more often they would come through him?
I think it was pretty equal. It was pretty equal because, again, I was bartending at the time, so I was around a lot of like girls like me. Like girls tend to like to listen to me talk, and they feel at first they're defensive, like, oh, you just let him say, and I'm like, no. Listen, you'll be happy. You're miserable because you think you're in control of something. Like, it's okay to be a woman. It's okay to be the queen. Stop. The reason Jay-Z and Beyonce look the way they look, I think, is because everybody's okay with their position. It's okay to be a queen. And it's okay for him to be a king. No one has to step. I don't want to be a king. I want to be a queen. So
that's the whole funniest part, by the way, about everyone calling her King B.
Yeah,
is that's not really how they operate at all.
I don't know them personally, but I can see it.
You can see it. Jay doesn't have to say a lot. He doesn't say shit. He lets her do everything. Because he's him. And
I watched that documentary, and the way she spoke about him and how I was like, some of the things that she's saying, I've said about Patrice. I get it. I was blinking slow too, girl. I get it.
Okay, so real quick, where can people go right now to give you money for this amazing film about Patrice that we all want to see?
Yeah, because I can talk about this stuff all day. Yes.
Because I was there when you guys met.
The only Puerto Rican friend. Yes. Oh my God, full circle.
Only Puerto Rican friend?
That's your line. That's your line. I'm his only Puerto Rican friend. I'm like, maybe I think so.
You forgot?
I have to fact check that.
I mean, I've told the story before, but when I got in trouble with the Haitian shit on the radio, Patrice was the first one to call. First. And he was like, man, fuck them niggas, man. I was like, yo, son. He's like, nah, man, fuck that shit, man.
Yeah. He was very anti-system. He turned down every roast. They always offered him the roast. He said he did the Charlie Sheen roast just so he could shake his hand and say, look, I respect what you did, like the anti-business stuff.
Oh, the wild the fuck out Charlie Sheen?
He, not the like drugs and the girls, but the anti-system, like you're not gonna
back down just because.
Yeah. He was like, oh.
Oh, you mean walking from the TV show?
Oh, yeah. He was like, I respect him so much for that. I'm gonna do this roast.
All right, okay, so Indiegogo.
Indiegogo. If you go to Indiegogo and you just put Patrice in the little search bar, it'll pop right up. You'll see it. You can also go to @VonDeCarlo, my Twitter.
Spell that.
VonDeCarlo.
Von DeCarlo.
It'll be posted there. Also on Patrice's Twitter @BigMamaProds. Or you could just go to PatriceO'Neal.com and the link is right
all there. So there's a million ways to do this.
A million ways.
And you're only $9,000 away. We have every week, we have at least 35, 40,000 people, 45,000, 50,000 people listening. This is only a few dollars for us to get this done.
This is great. And
our listeners love Patrice.
There's a perk. We're doing, they just announced it. It's like, guaranteed in the DVD extras, maybe end up in the film. Patrice inspired your life. How? Do a selfie testimonial type thing. That's one of the perks to be in the film.
Now, also, do you know we have our entire last interview with him on camera?
Oh,
do you?
Yeah, that was shot.
We need that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was shot. So I'll start having conversations, try to get that for you.
Please.
So yeah, I'll give you my contact.
That would be
I'll try
amazing.
to get you. Yeah, because
thank you.
I mean, it's like it's great. It has so much of his shit, and it's at the end. It's got a lot.
and he was battling with K Fox. It was fucking.
It was really
Oh,
good.
he loved K Fox.
Yes.
Oh my God. He came home and he just kept that conversation going. I was like, she's not coming with us, babe. We're not going to get K, but she would have been a good look for us.
That's the thing. She was so far from having his shit like that. Like she would be his dream project. Because she was so far away. She would argue. K Fox argues everything.
He wanted to put me on K. Like he's like this. He's like, this is why you need to write the book for girls like her.
Oh my
like
God.
he felt like K would listen more to me, like than him, like because she was real shut down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She would shut you down
Yeah.
quick. He was.
Yeah.
This was a real treat. Are you?
Thank you.
To be totally personal, are you dating anyone else?
Oh God, I have all the advice in the world for everybody.
You can't find a man yourself?
It's not like a can't find thing. It's so many different levels to it. I was with him for 10 years. And I'm not used to being single, so I like to apply relationship stuff like right away. Like I'm a relationship girl, and right now 23-year-old dudes like me. Like I'm on my cougar life stuff.
Why don't you get
I'm
with
tripping
like
and
Louis
falling
C.K.
on
or somebody?
23-year-olds.
Why don't you get with Louis C.K. or somebody like that? Yeah, get with like you need another comic.
Honestly,
legend.
you should.
I think I need to explore a different genre of men. Look, Patrice said, "Look, you fuck so many comics. Your pussy should have better timing." Like I'm telling you, I don't need to.
So Patrice wasn't your first comic?
No, I told you he used to drop me off elsewhere. Like in the beginning of our relationship.
Because there was someone else you were seeing.
Yeah,
Oh.
but that was like frivolous. That was like try to get him jealous, and it didn't work. But like the relationship, I speak about this in the book. But the relationship with where I was a side chick was with a comic.
Oh, that was with a comic.
Yeah,
Dane Cook. I knew it.
No,
100%.
not Dane, not Dane.
Dane Cook.
No,
definitely
Do you
not
know who
Dane.
it was?
Oh, who she was dating?
Yeah.
No. I'm not.
Oh, you don't know who it is?
What, it was a white guy?
It wasn't a white guy.
Oh.
It was a black comic. And Patrice, I actually
Charlie
told
Murphy.
him.
Wait, Patrice would drop you off at the other dude?
No, not this. Patrice didn't know about this guy until he went to, like, years later into our relationship. Patrice was going to audition for one of his films. And I was like, ugh, I better tell him
Martin
that I used
Lawrence.
to. I used I didn't say that.
Okay.
But-
Do you want me to go back and edit that part?
So.
Okay, continue on. Okay, continue.
Joey.
Drink, sip that water and keep going.
You said it.
Patrice was going to go
Wait, hold on,
audition.
start over.
It's fine.
Okay, go ahead.
She doesn't
It's
care.
fine.
She doesn't care.
It's fine. Patrice was going to go audition for one of his films.
Yes.
And he goes, I could have went my whole life without you telling me that. You're really goofy for telling me. And from my perspective as a woman, I was like, no, I'm not going to have a wink wink. If I slept with somebody and you don't know about it,
wink,
I
wink.
didn't tell you about it before because it wasn't relevant. It's relevant now.
There's no win.
And that's when he said the line, bitch, you slept with so many comics, you pussy should have better timing. And we laughed, and then it wasn't an issue
That's
after
it.
that.
He
That
didn't-
was it.
But
I
if
was
you
gonna
found
ask.
out without you telling them, it would have been worse.
Right. But his perspective was, that nigga wasn't going to be like, yo, I popped your girl. And I was like, true, he would never do that. But as a woman,
Besides that,
I don't want the
though,
wink
What if he
wink.
tells one of his friends and his friend's friends with Will and Will? You know, it's like, it's
Right.
just nasty.
Patrice, I tried to say that, but he was like, you're goofy. Get out of here. And don't sleep with no more comics.
That is
Why do
awesome.
you still have a boat? That's my favorite Patrice.
So, yeah, I need a different genre of men, I
right,
guess.
all
right, so
I don't know.
we'll-
Can I come back and you guys do a date Vaughn?
Well, let's
like,
get the doc out first.
Yeah,
'Cause
let's
then
have
you'll
the doc.
Can I
closure.
date someone?
And
I'm
then we'll
lonely.
have you date someone.
Yeah, we got to get you out there.
I mean,
I'm
you're a
lonely.
dream woman now. You're hot. You want to be. You understand the ways of Patrice O'Neal better than anyone.
I think
Nobody
that's the
in the
biggest
improv?
problem. I think people
They're not
don't
ready
want
for that.
to.
Why don't you get your little goofy improv white boy?
I think she got too much sass.
I don't know. It's complicated. It's so complicated.
That's a separate day. Cipha, that's another day.
right.
Yeah, I think I'm a great
down.
life coach and relationship expert for everyone else, and
Right.
I think figuring out who's going to handle all of this.
It's a lot.
I don't know, and I think really the Patrice shadow scares people. Like I don't want to.
No,
People
no.
didn't even want to go after him in comedy. Come after him in my life.
It's true. It's true.
That's
that is
funny.
tough-
You went right in. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, well, that's how I did. Well, I mean, you limited
filled
it.
up? You filled up?
You
You
narrowed
filled
it
up?
very quickly when you said tried out for one of his movies. You narrowed my scope instantly.
Wow.
Zim, and then I was like, brrrr, bah,
Boop-a-bop-bop-bop.
bop-it-up.
Well, I
I'm
have
very
not
excited.
confirmed or
No,
denied,
you have not.
but
And I'm
thank
very
you.
excited about this this campaign, and I'm going to try to get you that footage. And
I would really appreciate that.
You were a fantastic guest. I
Thank
thought
you.
we were going to have you on for like 5 minutes to do a plug. Just like, do you know how long we were going to have her?
I told her about a half an hour.
Oh, you did?
How
turned
long
out
has
to
it
be
been?
great.
The whole show. We're done. That was Juan Epstein.
I'm
That was
sorry.
it's
Did
over.
I totally,
No, we
to
had-
quote Patrice, raped your time?
All I had to talk about today was shout out my class, CipherSounds.com, to sign up for Intro to Improv class, the Biggie level.
Okay, you
Yes.
already. Was that the only thing we had?
I love that you're doing that.
Oh,
I really
I-
do.
The only thing I want to say is hip hop fans, lovers of great music, go buy the Odyssey album. It's called The Good Fight. It came out last week.
You still promoting this guy?
So good, dude. The
I thought he
album's-
wasn't your friend anymore.
Odyssey.
Yeah.
No. Me and Kev fell out. Me and Odyssey are good.
Are you back with Kev?
No,
You didn't fall in?
we didn't fall.
You can't.
I
Why don't you call him, man?
I tried.
Forgiveness, man, is the key.
I know. I did.
Yes, it is.
I did. But I mean, you can't force someone to forgive
Else-
you.
Right.
Well, that's true.
If they always think
You
you're
made a call.
bad, if you, it's been 10 times already. That's, I mean, not since the last time, but the last time was like the 10th time. Like got mad at me again over something I didn't do.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, now I just feel bad. You don't want to keep pushing yourself on someone who perpetually seems to just think you're a bad person.
Right.
Now,
Right.
It's, now
I feel
it's
you.
like.
I mean, if you did
You
your
did it
due
to me.
diligence, you're
But
good.
by the way, I'm not mad at him. And if he wanted to be cool again, I'd still be cool again. But I'm not going to
But
try.
why do you force
again.
me to continue to do this podcast?
I know. It's a really bad idea. Well, because I want you to have something to do that people hear.
I need somewhere to go.
I need you to have something to do. You know? All right. It was a pleasure, Vaughn. We will see you
Thank
again.
you. I had a great time. Thanks for
Vaughn
having me,
D.
guys. Yes.
And
I'll see you on the improv circuits, I'm sure.
Now, when you go back and listen to Patrice's specials and you hear the jokes about his girl/wife, now you have the actual voice and a picture to place it.
And it
'Cause I
was all
there.
true. People always say, I never really believed him. Sometimes I was like, oh, is he just talking shit? I'm like, no.
That was really real.
The
It's really
funny shit
true.
is when we were doing Elephant in the Room, like I did something. When I was in the audience of Elephant in the Room, you could see you knew the people who knew Patrice and who knew Vaughn because she was sitting up in the balcony and he would make a joke and you would see like
Them double over.
look over. Yeah, you know the people that knew Patrice that were in the audience and they would look up like, how is she reacting to this nonsense he just said?
That is basically every show. Like,
Yeah.
are you okay with that? I'm like, dude. He
But-
would tell a story to his friends, and I would walk in a room, and they're like, "Oh, change." You know how your energy
Yeah.
change when somebody's woman
Yeah.
comes in a room. To make everyone comfortable, I go, no, listen to the story. It gets better. And they're like,
To make them feel better.
Yeah, because it's the woman thing. Like, oh, she's gonna stomp
Right.
through and put down
Yo,
rules.
my
It's like, no, this shit is
fucking
funny.
best.
This is great.
I know you're in love with this person, by the way. Of course you think it's funny. You think it's like you wouldn't have known already?
Right.
You sleep in his bed every night. Like it.
Men do hide a lot of stuff from women because we put them in that position to lie to us. So I'm here to, try to help us
The
do
book
better
is
with
coming
that.
soon, a documentary.
Yes.
And then we're going to find love for Vaughn.
Yes, please. I'm
Vaughn-
dead serious.
And
Find love for Vaughn.
Von DiCarlo.
Von DiCarlo,
And the
yes.
D is for her breast size. Speaking of that, and speaking of the opposite of that, Ciph, don't get mad at me.
Yeah.
This one's look today
Yeah.
is like there's something about the way she looks physically today that if she had Von DiCarlo's, she would be more Carhartt girl than ever.
Oh,
There's something about her face. She's very like plain Jane today. You look.
Today's her birthday.
It is.
Yeah.
Carhartt girl at Jace's birthday.
Carhartt girl and Jace, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, G Code.
Happy birthday.
I know. There's something when I saw her today. It's just very. And by the way, you know what
I
else?
don't like
is-
the way you're looking at her.
No, that's on us.
It's kind of disgusting.
No, it's very like more like she looks like a girl who's on the low. Like she looks very low key today. No offense. By the way, her tat, could that be more Carhartt girl?
Aww.
Everything about you. You should be honored by this. People love Carhartt girl. Ciph, one other thing that happened this week I got to mention. I was at a fight party and a friend of mine who I won't say his name because you never know.
Oh, now you don't know names of shit. I wish I could figure out the damn name. Let me zoom in.
Just guess a random man's name. Just a random name. So no. I mean, it is fun to say his name. I don't give a shit. Who matters? Jeff the Nerd. Mm-hmm. So we had a fight party, and he decided to bring his wife. I didn't think he was going to. I was like, my wife was coming. My wife's into fights though, so into sports. I didn't think he was going to bring his wife. And I was invited. Laura came and brought like her cute friends. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like, you know, if you just want to come hang out with some cute girls for a night away from your wife and just hang out.
Where was this? At your house?
At my friend's house.
Oh.
I was like, just, you know, and I thought, and he knew some of Laura's friends. So I was like, you know, maybe you want to come. So he's like, no. And keep in mind, he's like super anxious about everything. So he could build anything up in his mind to think he doesn't want to do it. He's like, no, I'll have way more fun if I bring my wife. So I'm like, all right, cool, bring your wife. So we get to the party, and Laura and her cute friend show up. And then Laura's friend Rosie is like, oh my God, I have a friend who lives in this building. And she's like, I'm going to call her. So she calls random girl who lives in the building. Guess what? She's hot too. Mm-hmm. So now there's like a myriad of like just random cute women there. And Jeff finds himself in vintage Jeff fashion, because he's a nerd who you think wouldn't be social with anyone, but somehow is really able to talk to women very easily.
We've heard.
Yeah. So he's sitting there, and all of a sudden I'm looking over at him. Me and my wife, I'm like, look at him. He's in his zone. And don't get me wrong, even when he was single, he wouldn't have pulled either of the girls, but would have gotten their numbers, maybe become their friends, you know, maybe something there. And he's just, boom, having fun. One on each side. Oh, he's so disarmingly nerdy and Jewy and nice and blah, blah. And then his wife shows up way later, like the last person to show up to the party. And when I tell you, that man became silent for the rest of the night. I mean, he's new to marriage. They've only been married like 5 months, and I was like, man,
that's not a happy thing, though.
I was like, you have to balance. You haven't learned like what, like you don't know how to feel like. There's multiple ways to handle this, by the way. You know, there are certain situations that if girls are too hot in the room, and I know I'm not going to want to deal with it, and I know my wife's coming, I might just be like, I'm not really going to engage these girls tonight because I don't really feel like later on I may not be in the mood for that if they're too hot.
But you know what? One of the things Patrice taught me that really sunk in as a woman that I never understood about men, and I was so happy to learn it, is that sometimes men don't want to actually do anything. They just want the idea to feel like they can if they want to. It's like getting into a marriage with someone. One of the things that I advocate is not making a man feel like he has lost his freedom just because he is with you. That's my biggest thing. That is the biggest thing. And that's probably part of why our relationship went. Huh?
What? That's what Patrice goes, why do you still have a boat? Right. You gotta be able to go fishing, yo.
Exactly.
I go fishing, I throw it back. Why do you still have a boat?
Exactly.
Because you gotta smell fish on me.
We actually got to that point with the threesome thing. Like, we would just talk to a chick, see if we could get it, and then it'd be like, yeah, all right, well, we know we got it. All right, let's go home.
That's so funny that you guys went there together. All right, we'll do more next time.
Yeah,
Von DiCarlo on Twitter.
Thank you.
Contribute to the movie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have fun.
Bye.